What's good, everybody? I am back with another video, and before I get started with this review here, I want to say thanks for stopping by. And if this is your first time here, if you haven't done so already, make sure you do the right thing and hit the subscribe button below. And if you enjoyed the video, then give your girl a thumbs up. Alright, so let's get it. I have this box here. This is a one-piece box. It opens this way and it's completely matted out. There is a Jumpman on the top center of the lid. It's imprinted in a gold foil and it's debossed. Same Jumpman can be found on the shorter end here and a 23 on this side, and this is a size 4, which is my size. So this is pretty much the default box that I usually get with my Jordans, unless it's like a custom box, right? So let's take a look inside. This is the Air Jordan 12 Retro in the playoff colorway. And can you believe it's been 10 years since this colorway last released? And I still have my 2012 pair. It's in pretty good, decent condition, and so I'll do a comparison at the end of the video. But this is the 4th time this colorway ever released. Originally it debuted in 1997, and then in 2004, and then 2012. And so for its 25th anniversary of the colorway, Jordan Brand brought it back with the original silhouette, so it looks really good in hand. So the 12s were originally designed by Tinker Hatfield, the genius himself. And these playoff 12s have a lot of history. So Jordan rocked these in the 96-97 finals against the Jazz, and he had the game winner in game 1 with these on.
Here's Jordan! Where it'd be very difficult to come double team. They took Stockton away, of course, with Steve Kerr. He had to.
And then for game 6, he also rocked these where he scored 39 points. And then the Bulls beat the Jazz in that game, and so that was for his 5th ring, I believe.
Have won the title by defeating the Jazz.
And so for these shoes here, the design was inspired by the Japanese national flag from the 19th century, and so that's the rising sun flag. And so you can see the silhouette was inspired by that. So with the stitching, it looks like the sun rays, right? And so fun fact, Jordan Brand also released a rising sun colorway for the 12s. And it was a little controversial, as Draymond Green would say, because they had the national flag design at the insole of the shoe. But people were upset about it because you shouldn't be stepping on a flag. And so Jordan pulled the designs off the shelf and redesigned the insoles. But it wasn't until after I purchased it, so my pair has the original design on the insoles, so it was super wild. And so the playoff 12s is one of the 5 colorways that released in 1996-97. So there was the Taxi 12s, the Cherry 12s, Obsidians, Flu Game, and these playoffs here. And I was able to hit on these on the sneakers app, so let's go to some details. For this 2022 release, the model pretty much sticks to the OG design. So for the upper of the shoe, starting at the toe to the heel, there is black tumbled leather. And then starting at the arch and moving upwards, there's black stitching, and it's supposed to model the sun rays from the rising sun design. For the mudguard on this shoe that starts at the toe all the way to midfoot, it's one large panel and it's made out of white leather, and it kind of has a basketball-like texture. And then stitched on at the tail end of the mudguard on both the lateral as well as medial side is a gray panel, and then only on the lateral side it says Jumpman in all caps and it's debossed. At the heel of the shoe there is a black woven on label, and it says Jordan, quality inspired by the greatest player ever, and that's in white. And then at the top there's a pull tab and there's a Jumpman logo with a red background. And below the label, 23 is embossed in red, so let's go into the right shoe. 12s, the tongue is made out of black tumbled leather, just like the upper on the shoe. And then at the top of the tongue, there is a Jumpman that's embroidered on in varsity red. And to me, I think the Jumpman's a little small compared to, say, the Jordan 3s, right? And then it's not really detailed. It looks pretty shoddy. And I even compared it to the men's pair because I was able to hit on those too. And I don't think either pair or either design looks well. So I would say this needs to be improved a lot when it comes to the 12s. And running down the tongue of the shoe, the text 2 as well as the number 3 is embroidered on in white. For these playoff 12s, they come fully pre-laced with cotton round black laces. And then at the top of the shoe, there's a total of 4 eye stays, 2 on the lateral and 2 on the medial. And there's a Jumpman logo that's embossed on each eye stay, and the color is metallic silver. And so that's for the laces to funnel through if you wanted to go up that high. For the inside of the shoe, there is a black cotton sock liner, and then the insole is also black with a Jumpman imprinted at the heel in varsity red. For the midsole on these shoes is made out of phylon, and at the heel there's hits of black, and then for the front part of the midsole, there's also that same basketball texture. For the outsole on these shoes, it's white with some hits of black and red. There is a herringbone traction at the forefront as well as the heel in black. And then there's also a Jumpman that's embossed in black at the toe. And there's a tab that says 23 that's debossed in varsity red. Midfoot there is a carbon fiber shank plate, and that feature was adapted from the Jordan 11s. And the Jordan 12s were the first pair of Jordans to ever have a full-length Zoom Air unit. So I thought that was pretty cool. And so hang tight because I'm going to do a comparison between this 2022 model to the 2012 version that I have. So let's take a look. This is my 2012 playoff 12s, and as you can see, I've definitely worn the shoe. There's scuff marks and yellowing and crease marks throughout, especially at the toe and at the midsole of the shoe. And then some of the glue pieces are yellowed out. And so I think it just shows character. I've definitely worn these shoes in the past 10 years, right? And so I'm gonna do a comparison. So the 2012 model will be in my left hand and the 2022 will be in my right. And so the biggest difference that I first saw between the two shoes is that for the eye stays right here, the grommets are chromed out on the 2012 pair, but it's matted on the 2022 version. And then embroidered at the top of the tongue on the 2012 pair, it's a lot more detailed. The Jumpman just looks a lot more refined, whereas the 2022 version, it looks pretty shoddy in my opinion. Another very subtle detail that I noticed is that for the upper of the 2012 pair, it's a lot more smooth compared to the pebble grain on the leather of the upper on the 2022 version. And then for the inside lining of the 2012 pair, it looks a lot more shiny compared to how matte it is or more cotton-like it is for the 2022 pair. And then on the 2012 pair, there's a little bit more red. So on the heel label, Jordan text is in red, whereas on the 2022 version, it's in white. And then at the toe of the outsole, the Jumpman is in red, whereas it's in black in 2022. So very, very subtle details that are different. And so I still like my 2012 pair. I think this is just a nostalgic thing for me. I've definitely worn these so many times, but I appreciate how they brought back the original model with the 2022 release. So if you ever get your hands on these or you're feeling them, make sure you go true to size and hang tight for my on-feet look.
Perfect, perfect.